Deep in the forests of North America, a creature is said to exist. A creature that people are encountering.
Seriously, look how big it is.
With far too many reports to ignore, there are elements of truth behind these accounts that mankind can no longer
It's created almost this obsession where I need to find out more.
Could the breeding population of large, upright, hairy hominids really exist in North America? Or is there something more paranormal at work here? DT Woods. If just one footprint, one wood knock, or one howl was real, then man's understanding of primate evolution would be changed forever. Join Glenn Purcell and the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective as they delve further into the mysteries of Bigfoot and other paranormal phenomena through the eyes of witnesses, investigators, critics, and skeptics. Join us as we look to discover what lurks from behind tall trees.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday night. This is the second episode this season, and we kind of took a break over the summer because I was super busy. So we are back, and tonight we have Carter Buschardt. We're getting a little bit of a late start because he's having some computer issues. As you can see, we can't see him, but we can hear him. Hi, Carter. How are you?
I'm just fine. How you doing?
I'm doing better than you are, I think.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah, because you were there, and then all of a sudden
there, then it just
you froze,
wasn't,
and then now we have. But at least we can hear you, so that's half the battle, right?
Yep.
So tell us what's been going on. You were here before, and we talked about your Baptized by Abduction book.
Yep. I've been working on somewhat of a sequel to that, but it's more of an addition. But I've started another Sasquatch book.
Very nice.
And yeah, you keep saying you're not going to do it, but you do it. You know. But it's going to be a compilation. So what it is all the material will be quantum, metaphysical, paranormal.
Oh, very interesting.
And so, well, I've got most of my books are concerning my habituation family. So I've got, about 12 families that I on again, off again monitor, and they have Sasquatch living on their properties.
Very nice.
Them. And so they're kind enough to invite me when the time is right to go and experience some of the things that are going on out there. But they've been living with these beings on their property from anywhere from 2 years to 50 years.
Wow.
Going back, grandma and grandpa passed away. They gave the farm to the kids, and the kids gave it to their kids. So the kids have been visiting, and they know there's Sasquatch out there. So they're not surprised and shocked when they start seeing them and interacting with them. And there's 5 or 6 families that have 2 to 3 generations, maybe more, that have experienced the Sasquatch people. And
now, are they seeing them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, they see them. It's by choice. Like there's one family down in Arkansas that's a little spooked, but they're fascinated at the same time. So they want to see him, but at a distance. But they're listening to conversations at night. They're hearing them chattering amongst each other at night.
Oh, wow.
About the horse stables and stuff and so it's fascinating to them, but at the same time, they know they could rip them limb from limb. But if they were going to do that, they would have already done it. That's the thing I try to tell to everybody, that if they were going to hurt you, they have the perfect opportunity. You live in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Nobody would find the bodies for days.
True story.
Aren't those type of people. They want to learn from us and about us. They have families. We have families. and we raise our kids, and they raise their kids, and they have good kids and bad kids, and so do we. They just look different, and they don't send them to school.
Right.
But otherwise, they eat, sleep, drink, poop, reproduce, do everything like humans do. So that's what they have to get used to, that these things are not going to hurt them.
Right.
I've got them now where they're showing some of my people their newborn.
Oh my goodness.
They're showing their babies. Yeah.
That to me would be such an honor. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a brutal honor. It's just like, I would be happy to die if they would just did that once, because it would be a crowning achievement, But I have 2 families that are shown the babies at various stages of growth.
Wow.
One guy, he walks up to, it's about a quarter mile from his house to the front of their property. And he walks a quarter mile every morning with a dog to go get their mail. Then they walk back. That's the dog's exercise for the day. And so on a couple of occasions, the Sasquatch will be waiting for them up there near the mailbox. And they will peek out from behind a tree and show them their baby. Just show themselves. And it's just the coolest thing. And a lot of these people, like I got a video the other night of something very, very weird paranormal from one of my witnesses, my family's, and he says, I'm just ignoring the Sasquatch lately because I've got so much other weird stuff. And so sometimes if I call them and say, hey, what's going on? Hadn't talked to you in a couple of months, they'll forget completely about what's been going on. We went and got a new car, got a tune up in the Jeep. I went and got an oil changed. Jennifer cut her hair, and I saw a Sasquatch last week holding a deer. Did I tell you that? No. So, but they forget. It's such a ritual. It's such a rite of. It's like you getting up and telling everybody about your breakfast. Well, who cares?
Right.
You had oatmeal and a couple of cups of coffee, whatever. But it happens so often and so regularly, which most people just can't fathom, that they forget to tell you. And the nature of our relationship is because they called me when they started having Sasquatch sightings, and they didn't want people to make fun of them, so they knew to call this guy, because I wouldn't make fun, I wouldn't laugh at you. I believe in everything you're saying, once I know you're not full of crap.
Right.
So, but they just forget, because it's like an everyday thing. I got to go milk the cows. I got to go pull the tomato plants. I got to go. I saw a Sasquatch this morning on my way to the dentist. They just don't think about it. And you probably, I can sort of conceptualize that. I don't know if many people can, but it's just an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And it's, once they sit down and realize what's going on, they're so flattered and so glad, and I've been out there to see and experience some of the paranormal quantum, yes, they can speak my name in my voice kind of stuff. And you're going, oh my God. One night, go ahead.
No, it's interesting you say that, because we had an instance here where they mimicked me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like that's insane.
They can mimic your voice. They can mimic a car engine, deer snorting. They can mimic anything, virtually. I've had them mimic car engines to the point that one of my researchers, it was Iowa, he was sitting in a car. He was sitting in his van. He was not healthy. He was obese, and he had oxygen tanks. But he was a brilliant guy, Tom Rue, R-U-H. You probably never heard of him because he's passed away. But he was a nuclear scientist.
Oh, wow.
And he had a serious interest in Sasquatch. And so he's seen them and heard them and do all the weird stuff. So, but he had, when we went on expeditions, he would come, but he would stay in his van.
Yeah.
And so he would monitor, for anything going on while we were in the woods. Well, one night we got a Mayday call from him. You guys need to get here quick, quick, quick. The cops are here. The cops are here. I don't know what I did, but we're in trouble. So we haul ass back. We get to where he's parked. There's nobody there. He swore the cops pulled up behind, stopped the engine, slammed 2 doors, 2 sets of legs and feet were walking toward the van. He just knew, okay, we're not supposed to be here because it was a state park up in Iowa. We're not supposed to be there after dark unless you got a camping permit. So he thought, well, we're in trouble. So he called Forest thinking we had to explain ourselves to the forest rangers. Well, there wasn't any forest rangers. We got back and he was petrified. And he heard the rumble. He heard the tires crunching in the rocks on the road. He heard the clump, clump, clump walking toward him. The feet got louder as it got toward him. Then it just stopped.
Oh my God.
That kind of thing. And he was like beside himself. And so I'd never seen him like that. But they can mimic anything, owls, anything. I mean, just you name any sound, they can do it. And so that's the thing that, I've got to go sit on the porch. What we do with one of my families is we sit on the front porch and they throw rocks and twigs at us from across the road. Well, we throw them back and they'll throw them back. Then I'll say, Carter, call your name out. So I said, I'm Carter. I'm Carter. Comes back in my exact voice.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the weirdest thing. Hearing your words, the ones that you uttered coming back. It's like a recording, but it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, and I was so tickled. I was laughing so hard, I was having a great time with it, and then my people were, they were yelling out their daughters' names and the cats' names and stuff, and hearing the names come back out of the woods is just, and that's how they have entertainment.
Right.
That's their form of entertainment is messing with the Sasquatch, and the Sasquatch are messing with them, so that's why I got into this part of the research, which isn't really sexy and exciting. A lot of podcast people, I got, snarling blood dripping from teeth of Dogman and Sasquatch. They're eating your children and all that scary stuff. Well, that just wasn't, everybody and their mother was doing that. That just wasn't of any interest to me.
Right.
Because this is an intellectual relationship these people are having, and so they will show them, like this family I was telling you where they showed the baby. That was about 3 or 4 years ago. They sent me a picture of that same young child growing up now, but he is about 4.5, 5 feet tall.
Wow.
And you can barely see it. They're very strategic. So what they do when they want to show them their children as they're growing up, they will get in front of the camera on sunrise and they will wait till the sun's coming up. Then they will stand so that the sun is backlighting the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch is standing there. You cannot see anything but the silhouette because the sun is behind them coming up.
Right.
And in front of this Sasquatch parent was an even less clear but obvious juvenile standing in front of him about 10 feet.
Wow.
And this was him showing my people their child that they had seen 5 years ago, right after he was born.
Oh my goodness.
And this is what they just, it's not announced. They just show it, but they know where all their cameras are.
So like this is a game trail camera.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a Sky Point.
Okay.
You familiar with that?
No.
SkyPoint is like Verizon, or it's a subscription service. So you've got trail cameras that are running 24/7, and they will just shoot random photos if nothing moves, just to get pictures of what's going on.
Right.
Then other times it will obviously trip when something's moving. They've had some weird paranormal stuff going on there. They've it just about 2 months ago, they sent me a photo and it looked like there was nothing there. There was this field. They have a mobile home that I stay in there when I go to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stay on that side of the property. And so, but they have cameras on this SkyPoint sitting on this property side too. It's different from where their house is. It's across the road and down a mile. But anyway, so this doesn't have a lot of human activity because that's where they go to hunt and grow some stuff, and they live their life on their other house. But one day, I'm getting pictures like this all the time, but I got a picture, it's been about a month, 6 weeks, of what looks like it's the back of a humanoid shape, but it looks like it's got a weird shirt on. And then the very next picture is this thing is still there, but it's moved over to the right a little bit. And on the left is what looks like this big tree stump with this like ostrich-like neck coming up out of it. And there's a head. It's not as clear as you want it, but you can see it. You're going, what is that? Of course, they don't know.
Right.
What, he says, I thought you might know. I said, well, I've got some good ideas, but it doesn't match the Sasquatch thing you got going there.
Right.
It looks like some kind of creature coming out of a pod or a giant tree trunk, but it looks like kind of a pod laying horizontal on the ground. Then there's this neck. It's just the weirdest thing. But they have a lot of paranormal stuff going on over there. And that's why this new book I'm working on is going to be nothing but the quantum, metaphysical, paranormal events that all my habituation families have going on. Because it's getting really old to keep hearing the dumb ape thing.
Yeah.
They are not dumb apes, not by a long shot.
Oh, no. I think they're very highly intelligent.
Oh, they got us beat by a mile. It's not even close. So that's why I'm putting this out. So it's going to be a compilation of all the other books, but I'm taking nothing but the greatest hits and the weirdest stuff, stuff that's happened to me, how long is our show tonight?
It's an hour.
Hour? Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's why I was going to, getting into the metaphysical and paranormal type things.
Right.
We were talking about that time that the Sasquatch made contact with me.
I would love to hear that because I have not heard that before.
Okay. So how much time we got?
We have about 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, I can get that done in 45 minutes or less. I wish I could show you the pictures, but I'm not sure what the deal is with the camera. You're in the show. Everybody can see and hear you. I know that's not true. So anyway. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, so the 2019, I was asked to do a expedition in Illinois to lead one. And this is for BFRO. And so this is when COVID had just started. And so the researcher who was going to lead it, he bailed out. So I'm not getting out there with COVID and all this stuff. And people started canceling. They had about 25 reservations. Well, they called me because there were some people that still wanted to go. They were not canceling under any, you got my money, you keep my money, I want to go on an expedition.
Right.
So these people are like hardcore. Well, so Caroline called me up and said, would you do this? Because the other guy bailed out. And I have a love-hate relationship with BFRO, but I agreed to do it because I have a really good friend, Harold, who lives in Illinois, in Murfreesboro, and that's where I was going to go. That's where this was supposed to be. So I ended up with 4 people, which isn't many.
No.
There's 2 couples, myself and Harold. That's 6 of us. So what I do is I go down to where I'm going to have my expedition. I scout the area. So what I did was I always do this. I go to the little mom and pop breakfast that opens up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in a little bitty town where I'm doing my expeditions. I go in there and I ask the locals, the bib overall crowd, hey, is the city slicker here? I just want to know where's a good place to have an expedition. We're looking for Sasquatch activity. And so after the snickering stops, they're all looking at this, city slicker, and all the country people looking at you like, right. Well, they proceed to tell me, well, there's a place you don't want to go.
That's where you want to go.
I said, oh, really? Where's it? Well, there's a place. It's over by the water pump station. Ain't nobody in town will go anywhere near that place at all, day or night, especially after dark. Nobody will go there. Man, woman, child, nobody will go anywhere near it. It's off limit. It's taboo. It's spooky. Nobody goes. Well, that's where we're going. Exactly. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I come to find out after everybody's on their way and they're coming, that this was the Trail of Tears, where they marched the Cherokee tribe primarily from the East Coast to the West. And thousands and thousands of them died along the way. It was brutal. It was cruel. They didn't care if they starved or did what. Nobody cared. The white man was being themselves, treating the natives poorly. So when they were on their way over to the West Coast, to the Mississippi River is where they were headed, which is right near where we were going, a big flood came in. Mm-hmm. And it wiped out a bunch of the people. Well, they buried them, and then another flood came and wiped out all the burials and the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
Wiped all the buried Native Americans. Well, there was about 95 people that were buried there. And the little memorial plaques tell you that when you get there, the Native Americans. Well, the reason I'm hypothesizing, because no one will tell me, that it was spooky and nobody would go there at night is when they reburied the Native Americans, they didn't do it properly. They didn't bury them with the traditional red and or yellow blankets and their personal items and pottery and bows and arrows, whatever they had. That was not included. So the place became, according to many, haunted and horrifying. A lot of weird stuff happened there, missing people, dogman reports. I did have my first dogman report at that area with photos in that area. So anyway, we set up the expedition for there. We camped at the Trail of Tears campsite, which is 12 miles away from where we had our expedition. I picked this area because actually when I scouted it, it looked pretty spooky. It was about a 150, 200 yard deep ravine, rocks, jagged rocks. The walls of this thing were 20 to 30 feet high on both sides because that's where part of the flood had come through and washed everything out and carved a whole other area there. So it was really rough traversing. So Harold, my friend, he met me there. And we met the folks, we camped, set up our tents, and went and did a day trip out to this area. And we found all kinds of footprints, structures, all kinds of really great stuff. We cast about 6 or 7 footprints a lot of structures, a lot of trees pushed over, a lot of stuff. There's a fire tower out there. Anyway, it was really, really intriguing. So we cast everything, and then that was on Friday night. Saturday, we went back and we dug up the prints. We let them cure overnight. So we went back and dug them up and took them back to our cars. And then we went and had dinner. Then we came to the area for our night ops. Well, you knew the Sasquatch were there. You could sense them. You could hear them moving around, grunting, snorting, but they would not communicate. They wouldn't respond to knocks or request for them to speak to us, or, throw us a stick, do us a knock, give us a call, do something. They weren't cooperating at all, but you could hear them. They were there. We could sense them, and that was even spookier because they weren't interacting. They were just watching, like they were getting ready to come down and tear our throats out or something. Well, maybe they are, but what a way to go, huh? You got something to tell your kids. Well, except you can't tell them because you'll be dead. So anyway, so we go down and have a really nice night, but they are not communicating with us. So we go ahead and go back home. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We get done and we just go back and enjoy the campsite, have, a couple of beers around the campfire and do our whole thing. I'll tell Harold, I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a camera. I'm going to leave a trail camera here by this log. There's a log at about the 100-yard mark where we stopped because that was enough walking on this really uneven terrain for all of us. And they were not cooperating with us anyway. So I went back and left a trail camera there. I said, well, chances are if you leave a trail camera, they're going to see it and you're not going to get a picture, but I guarantee you I won't get one if I don't at least leave one. So I always leave a camera. I left it right by this log. And, it was COVID. So the place was dead. There was nobody out. Most of the stores were closed. There's nobody coming to this, the Trail of Tears campsite is really a pretty popular place, but there was nobody out because there's COVID, and I get it. Everybody had the fear of God put in them, we're all going to die. So anyhow, we all get up and say our goodbyes. This was Sunday morning. I said to Harold, I'm going to go stop back by and get my camera, and hopefully I got some photos, but if not, oh well. And so I had a 325-mile drive back to Kansas City because I'm in Kansas City and this was Murfreesboro, Illinois. So I drive out there and I get there and hunting season had started. So there was hunters walking around. I saw several of them up in the trees. I waved at them. They waved at me. Wonder what this guy's doing without a gun or anything. I said, well, we'll see you later. So I walked down to the felled tree, and right before the felled tree was this other fallen log, and that's where I put my camera because it had a kind of an unobstructed view of the trail coming down. So I'm getting there, and I'm going to hit this other button, see if my camera works. Nope. Just in case. Anyway, so I get to the rock and I'm looking at it and oh God, I wish everybody could see this. But on this rock, there was rocks on this log, excuse me. There was rocks on the log. I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, those weren't there yesterday. I mean, there's nobody out. There's nobody anywhere. We didn't do this. But there was rocks on the log, and I'm looking at the rocks, and there's like 5 on one end. There's one long, about 8-inch long rock that's pointed like an arrow, and then there's 4 smaller rocks behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then the other end of the rock is one rock. Other end of the log is one rock, and that represents Harold. Now Harold stayed in his truck because he's had stroke, cancer, and that walk was too hard. So he stayed in his truck in the parking lot.
Right.
So we were in radio contact with him. So I'm looking at it. I'm going, Oh my God. Oh my God. Here I go. If I start crying, sorry. This is us. I called Harold. Harold. The Sasquatch made contact. I'm just screaming. I'm just screaming. I'm so excited. There's 5 rocks here. There's me and the expedition people. On the other end is you, because you were here but weren't here. He's going, what the hell are you talking about? There's rocks here. And so I took a picture and texted it to him. He's going, oh my God, he's getting freaked out. So they were letting me know that they were aware of us last night. They were watching us, and they did not communicate with us for whatever reason. Oh, it gets better. Oh my God. This is where I start getting teary. In fact, I feel it coming on now. So I'm freaking out. I said, well, Harold, I got to go. But I got to call my wife. I'm going to head on back to Kansas City. So I called my wife and told her, well, I'm headed out. It's about 8 o'clock, 8:30. I'm heading out. And I told her about the rocks. And I was just, I could hardly even get all the words out. I was just, I was halfway crying. And she goes, well, that is really awesome. That's weird. But when did that happen? So I don't know. I don't know. It's probably, we left about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So it had to be after that. And there was nobody out.
Oh, wow.
There was nobody out. And she goes, well, about 8:30 last night, I'm getting ready for bed, and a blue orb comes flying. Here I go. I start bawling. Every time I tell this story, this blue orb flew into our bedroom 325 miles away at my house. It flies around the bedroom twice.
Oh my God.
And then it goes into the bathroom and disappears. And that's them letting me know they know where I live.
Oh my gosh. 300 and some miles away?
I haven't told you that story?
No.
Oh God. Well, I was going to put it in the book, but I didn't, because I wanted to confirm with my wife that really happened. And so I called and told her the story. She said, well, it was about 8:30. And it just came in here. I don't even know. It just, I saw it in the mirror. I saw the reflection of it. And then I looked over at the wall where our bed was, and I could see the orb flying by the wall. So I saw it in the mirror, but I also saw it in actual real time in the bedroom. And so she knows it wasn't like a car from outside or any of that kind of stuff. We don't get traffic where we are. We're on acreage. So, and I'm going, oh my God. They were letting me know I made the Cool Kids Club. I mean, I'm crying like a freaking baby now. It's just such an emotional thing, because it let me know that they were aware and they were watching us. And, since that night, that day in 2019, they have come to me in my sleep.
Oh, wow.
Multiple times a year. They will show themselves to me, and I'm laying in bed, and it's like I'm in a hole underground. I'm looking up through the grass. There's a grass-lined hole. I'm looking up. I see the blue sky, and then I see these Sasquatch heads coming into the opening and looking down the hole, looking at me like, you stupid human. What are you doing down there?
Oh,
I mean,
my gosh.
I'm looking up at them, and I'm not sure. I'm saying, well, where is this? Because this looks like my research area in Missouri. And they just said, home. This is home. Home. And that's all they said. But I could see the little ones and parents sitting on logs, sitting in the forest. The kids are sticking holes in the ground with sticks and eating bugs and pulling up mice and grubs and stuff out of the, moles out of the ground. It's just a day in the life. They're all just sitting there hanging out.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm shown this stuff, and I'm going, oh my God, this is so awesome, but they're allowing me to experience a day in their life. And the area they showed me, it could be in Illinois where I was, it could be in Missouri, because the areas are interchangeable. Deep
Right.
woods, fallen logs, the family's sitting around. Some of the kids are sitting on the logs with a mom or an uncle or a teen or a juvenile or something. It's just like a day in the life. They're like a picnic. I'm just watching this. They're letting me see this.
That's
I'm going,
incredible.
it's just so freaking cool. And that's one of the things I'm putting in the book, because I didn't put what I just told you in the book, because at the time the book was coming out, I hadn't verified with my wife and gotten with her, and the book was already out. So yeah, Kurt. Hey, you're welcome, Kurt. Well, I don't even know you, but I'm crying in front of you. So
Well, none of us can see that, so you're okay.
oh, I know. Well, it's just, I'm glad you can. I have told this story, and it is just the weirdest thing. I bawl every time
Because
because
it's emotional.
well, it is. It's and the guy I was working on a film with said, "Well, it might be, maybe it's PTSD. You're upset." I said, "No, I'm
A little
not
bit.
traumatized by this at all.
Right.
There are other things like my alien abduction that would
Yeah.
traumatize me, and
Ugh.
it has, but
Right.
this is like a most joyous moment. If I never saw or contacted another Sasquatch for the rest of my life, I'd be happy, because I have this moment, and they're contacting me, and it's hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. I get it, but that's why I'm putting out this other book, because they're not just a dumb ape. They're so much more. You know that,
I do. I
and
do.
it's just you got to get it out there. But it was just I had to share that with you, because I'm holding my book up and you can't see it, but it was just like that aha moment, and here's what happened. So we went back out in 2020. It was not an expedition. I just went with my former, now ex-partner, who's here in Kansas City. He went with me. And then I met Harold, and I met another researcher from Chicago, Illinois. He's a fireman. He's retired now. And so we went back down to the same place,
Oh, wow.
and we put gifts. I had brought a bunch of Dollar Tree stuff, cheap necklaces, little dolls, fruit, fake candy and fruit, fake fruit, like for, dollhouse and stuff like that. Just all kinds of stuff, mirrors. I have a lot of luck with them taking mirrors, and you never see them
Oh,
again.
interesting.
Well, imagine a Sasquatch seeing its face for the first time ever,
Right.
other than in a babbling brook or something. So I always thought, well, they like mirrors. I have one of my properties. They've taken 5 mirrors. I put 5 mirrors up. They're all gone.
Wow.
Well, part of the theory is I believe they do not like the mirrors, because it reminds them of the cameras. They don't like having their pictures taken. The Native Americans and Sasquatch had a symbiotic relationship forever and ever. And the Native Americans, when we first conquered them, and I hate to say that out loud, but we first took advantage of them and had them captured and had them on reservations, we started taking our cameras out and taking pictures. They freaked out, because they thought the white man was stealing their spirits with this magic box.
Oh, my.
And so I cannot imagine that mentality did not get transferred to the Sasquatch, with whom they were trading food and supplies and possibly, women, back in the wild, wild west, back in the 1700s, back further than we can calculate. But
Right.
they thought that we were stealing their souls. So they did not
Oh,
like the cameras.
wow.
They hated the cameras. So, and now Sasquatch hate cameras. Of course, a really good photo of a Sasquatch might get some Sasquatch killed or hurt.
Yeah.
that leads them to, okay, this is where they're at. This picture's right here. This is where they're at. This is where they are. So let's go get them. So that plus the electronics, and they know it's a human thing, and they just don't like that anyway. So who knows if that knowledge from the Native Americans here was passed on to the Sasquatch early on. Because, honestly, I don't know when regular less than box cameras started popping up where there would be people carrying them on a regular basis back in the Wild West days. I don't think people could afford them or even knew how to use them.
Right.
So I think at some point, just a theory, that some of that information got traded or sent to the Sasquatch from the Native Americans.
Very well could have. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So you just wonder about that kind of stuff. So, but that's the kind of stuff I'm going to put in the book. It is just nothing but the metaphysical, paranormal, quantum type things. And if people don't like it, too bad. Because the thing with the reality of the Sasquatch and their ability to communicate with us and to disappear and to materialize and dematerialize and all that kind of stuff, that happens to a lot of people, and people need to tell other people so they get the word out. So that's why I put it all in the books. And the more people call and tell me their stories, I put their stories in the books, no names, no locations. It gives other people the courage to come forward, because all the names are fake, all the locations, that's not important, who or where. It's just what is going on.
Right.
So, but that's what I'm going to do and get all this out. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's cool, Kurt. Yeah. So, any questions? God, I'm so used to having a book to show you.
Oh.
It's so weird. It's just so weird.
I know it.
But the now the book with the hand photo on it, that one is fascinating, but I can't show that. But you know the one I'm talking about, right? It's got the hand photo with the landowner walking.
I have all of your books here. Yep, hold on.
Yep. Yeah,
I got them all.
The yellow one, the yellowish one. Yep, that one there. Okay, this is for your listeners or your watchers because they can see that. You probably can't see this, but the landowner who's walking up, the camera says 3:12 and 36 seconds in the afternoon. It's basically 3:15 in the afternoon in 36 seconds. You see the Sasquatch hand in that photo right below it? It appeared exactly behind him 3:12 and 40 seconds. 4 seconds after he tripped that camera, that Sasquatch tripped the same camera, same location.
Oh my God.
He never saw it. He never heard it. He never sensed it. Now hold that book back up, Gwen. I want to show you something. Show everybody else something. So you see the top photo with the landowner. You see the shadow where he's walking in. There's the shadow of the trees.
Yeah.
And you see the tree, the horizontal tree in the background.
Yeah.
It's fallen over, and you see all the other trees standing straight up. All nice, well and good and pretty. Now, look at the photo with the hand. You see the Sasquatch. I believe it materialized from elsewhere. It bumped the camera because you see the shading is not as dark as it is up above.
Right.
And the trees are all moving like it's a windy day. They're all moving to the right. You turn around and look at it. You can see them. It bumped that camera. It came out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
And he was not armed that day. He was what they do about every 6 to 8 weeks is him and the other landowner. They go out. You don't have to hold that up anymore. They go out and check their batteries and SD cards. So that's all he was doing that day, was going around checking, make sure the batteries were all got full charge and SD cards weren't full, or he had to swap anything out or change batteries. So that's all he was doing that. And I've been out to the property twice, and there's some spooky stuff going there. But just fathom. Well, all these people can email me too. You can give them my email because
absolutely.
I can't give it to me. But this is all going on there. 4 seconds later, it just showed up. He'd have seen it. He'd have heard it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. That's all the time this creature had to show up or disappeared. So it came and went. And it's inexplicable. You know, it is absolutely inexplicable. That one.
Yeah, that's crazy because I didn't notice that before. Like, I've read this book and I did not notice the picture on the front as being, I thought they were just two separate.
It's the same camera took the same two photos.
Yeah, I see that now.
4 seconds apart. Is that just creepy weird?
That is insane.
So, I mean, and this guy is the town preacher. You know, the guy in this photo, he's a town preacher. So people say, okay, well, preachers can lie. Look at the big guy down there in Texas. What's his name? Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
You know, preachers can be crooked too.
Yeah, absolutely they can.
But this guy is the salt of the earth. His co-owner friend is the salt of the earth. I've been there 2 times, maybe 3. I think a third time. I went a third time. And so I said, I have to ask this. I said, is this a real photo? Carter, that's real. And don't you ever ask me that again.
Oh my.
And he sold his indignance very well with that attitude. But, you know, it's a preacher. And they can, but, you know, he has had paranormal religious things going on where he was tested by God on his belief in the Holy Spirit.
Oh, wow.
And it had something to do with the Sasquatch, but it just happened to be in the area. So I've got pictures. I got pictures of what appear to be orbs going into a tree. They're lined up like 5 or 6 in a row. I have 2 families, separate coasts. Both have pictures of 5 or 6 what appear to be orbs. They say they're orbs because they watched them, and they are trying to get into the tree.
Wow.
2 people. I'll send the photos to you. I'll have to get them, but thousands of miles apart. And they have gifting. The lady up in the western part of the country, she's got this incredible gifting thing going on. I mean, she has got some stuff going on. She is knocking it out. It's just so bizarre. But she got a picture of the same thing. She said it was the same thing. She hadn't seen this guy's stuff. He hadn't seen her stuff. I wouldn't, you know.
Right.
And so what do you do with something like that? Are hoaxers all reading the same hoax book?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or is this stuff like really happening? It looks like there's 5 or 6 little Christmas lights, for a lack of a better explanation, but they're bigger than that.
Right.
They're kind of squarish, going up this tree. And they're up in another tree 1,000 miles away. Same
That's
thing.
incredible. That's incredible.
So what do you do with that? I wish I could show it to you. I would, you know,
I
but
know.
I'll find you've got them in the books. I'll have to find the book but you've got this one in this book that you just held up.
Yeah.
In the chapter where that story is, there's a picture in that page 57 in this book. Gwen?
The yellow one that I add up?
Yeah. 56 and 57.
All right, we are here.
Now, the one on your right is a horizontal photo, so you'd have to change it, but it's the same picture, just, yeah, there you go. And you see those two little foggy things there?
Yeah.
That's when he hauled ass. They manifested from out of nowhere. He was sitting there watching these orbs on this tree, and that's when he took the picture. Well,
That's crazy.
those little misty things started manifesting when he was taking another picture. And he said, I wasn't waiting to find out what that was, because he's already had a test from what he knows to be Satan, questioning his faith as a man of God. And it's kind of weird, talking about Sasquatch and religion all the same, because you got the Nephilim connection, or alleged connection, which I don't think it is. It's just my opinion. But I got the same photo in another story from another lady 1,000 miles away. It's very simple. I mean, she described it's the same thing. And I had who was I talking to today? Somebody I was talking to asked me if I believe. Oh, the girl who's going to do the artwork for this new book.
Mm-hmm.
She was asking, "Do you believe they get their energy from the trees?" I said, "Yeah," and we talked about what we just talked about.
Right.
She goes, "Oh my God, yeah, I've seen that." And she's I can't remember where she's living now, but anyway, yeah, she's doing the artwork for the book. And so we just started talking. And so there's another person. I just pulled that out of my pocket. I was going to say something else. But we just were talking, and the first question she asked me, not even, "Hey, how you doing? Hadn't talked to you in a while," was, "Hey, do you believe that they can go into the trees and get their energy?" Or just the first question. Because she can't talk to too many people about her beliefs, where she's at, for whatever.
Right.
So there's that. But this is they're not a dumb ape crowd that I'm dealing with. Not the, "Oh, that's a bunch of crap, Carter. They can't do that. They ain't that's just crazy." They're just a dumb ape. Okay, no, they're not. They're not just.
When I had my first sighting and I started researching Bigfoot, I didn't know what I was going to find. And I am that person because I'm a paramedic. So I come from like a science-y type of background, right?
Sure.
And I wanted so badly to just find out that it was a flesh and blood creature. And I won't conform to flesh and blood, paranormal, dimensional, whatever, you know what I mean? Because I want the evidence to tell me what it is and speak to me. And I can tell you that I have way more questions now than I ever have had, because the things that I've experienced and the things that I've seen don't fit into any of those flesh and blood boxes.
Yeah.
And I will say it. I've said it a million times. I will say it right now, and I will say it in the future. There's something so much more to these creatures.
Yeah.
That to put it in a box is just kind of crazy, because I've experienced things myself that if I would not have experienced it myself, I'd be calling you crazy right now.
Yeah.
But because I also have experienced shit that I absolutely cannot explain. There's no explanation of how it's here 1 second, it's gone the next second, how it can throw rocks at me from several hundred feet away. I know that ain't any other creature. And I have photographs of said creature looking in my bedroom window at me when all I see are eyes. There's no body.
Well, that was me. I'm sorry.
You know, Carter,
I was
you should
wearing
at least,
black that night.
you should at least tell me you're coming, okay? You could have slept in the spare room.
I thought I did. Well,
You know
see,
what I
but
mean? There's
isn't that
just these
perfect how
things.
you learned because you were supposed to learn, and you could have an open mind or you could
Yeah.
have a closed mind, and even an open mind will not believe certain things, but you
Yeah.
just have to let it go and come into your life and be what it is to you and do what it's going to do, and don't argue with it. I quit arguing with that stuff a long time ago. I've just been weird all my life. I've seen things, I experienced things, and things happen to me, and
Yep.
I know it's supposed to be. I don't question why. It's
Right.
just supposed to be, you
Yep.
know. And so, oh, it's 7 o'clock. Is it almost time?
Almost time. We
Okay.
started late, so
Okay. Well, I put another story in this book. I don't know if I have time to tell it. 4 scientists, women, all women. 2 were scientists, 2 were their assistants. I'll just tell you the story real quick.
sure.
They came to a conference I was doing down in Joplin, Missouri. It's been 3 years, I think 3 years. 3 years. They're scientists. Why they came to a paranormal conference in the middle of frickin' nowhere, I got no idea. But this lady, the spokesman, she came up to me and says, "I just got to tell you this story. We saw a Sasquatch driving back from a conference in St. Louis, going back to our home state of Oklahoma. And we were driving back westbound, 10:30 or so at night, going into Oklahoma. And I saw something running along this 2-lane highway. She saw something running along the highway, going the other direction, going where they came from, going against where they were. Then so she kind of slows down. She goes, "That's kind of weird. Somebody out running, on a highway in the dark, this time."
Yeah.
She kind of slows down a little bit, and then this thing speeds up and runs up ahead of them and crosses the highway and gets on their side of the highway. And by then she slowed down to about 25 or 30 because she thought that maybe there's somebody else out here. So all 4 women, they're watching this, and they're scientists. You know what scientists? That's a dirty word when you talk
It
about
is.
Sasquatch. They're watching this thing, and it is now running alongside their car on the passenger side, just alongside the car. They slowed down again. I'm paraphrasing this to save time, but they slowed down to, again, 20, 25 miles an hour. And this thing was running right alongside the car, blondish, grayish hair, 7.5, 8 feet tall. And it was running along. It never looked at them. It was just running along. And then they just started freaking out a little bit. And then it stepped on it. It just hauled ass, ran way up ahead of them, probably 30 or 40 miles an hour, went across both highways, disappeared into the dark. They're freaking out. It gets better. They're freaking out. They pull over to the side of the road, the shoulder on the westbound side. They're just, oh my God. There's 4 women screaming in the dark, And we just saw they're scientists. They don't believe in that stuff.
Oh my God.
They're talking about it. One woman, when they first saw the thing, she fainted. She was in the back seat. She was one of the assistants. The 2 scientists ladies were in the front. The 2 assistants were in the back, as it should be, slaves. So anyway, when she saw that, when they all saw it, she fainted. Nobody noticed her right away, but she was out. So she was like, oh my God. So and she woke back up when they saw it running against the car. Then she fainted again. Well, it was 11:30 when they pulled over and were freaking out and talking about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Next thing they know, it is 2:00 in the morning.
Interesting.
They have 2.5 hours of missing time.
Huh.
Scientists. I just wrote this chapter today. I was having too much fun, thinking how somebody with this very expensive college and kind of hoity-toity occupation education is being put in their place by people who don't believe you,
Yes.
and especially your science cohorts, because Sasquatch is a dirty word. The government tells you what to say about Sasquatch, and science, you say it doesn't exist. Okay, we want our grants. They don't exist.
Yeah.
So they have 2.5 hours
That's
missing time.
insane, Carter. That's insane.
And this is why they came to the show I was at, because they were on their way. They'd done their homework. They were going to stop by at this paranormal conference in Joplin, freaking Missouri, in the middle of nowhere, really, and try to get some answers. I mean, that at least I give it to credit for them doing that, going
Absolutely.
that far to do it. They going to where the logical mind of a scientist figures, well, this is, if I'm going to get evidence or get knowledge, this would be the place. I would never talk to those dirty people, but I'll go anyway,
Right.
So that's what they did. They went on a fact finding and they told me the whole story. And I and at that time I hadn't gotten my story about my other guy with missing time. It's just in this second book as well.
Oh my gosh.
He had 6 hours.
That's a lot of missing time.
So, is there a UFO paranormal connection? You can't say no.
I don't know, but I can tell you just this past May, something weird happened at Salt Fork, Ohio.
Yep.
That my husband and I can't explain. We were going, it was after the conference. It was Saturday night. We climbed into bed. We're going to get up early. We're going to head back home. It's like a 5.5 hour drive. And I set my alarm for 6:30 in the morning. The alarm went off and I thought, okay, it's time to get up. I'm like yelling at him, come on, we got to get up, got to get up. He gets up, he goes into the bathroom. He yells out to me, it's only 1:30. I'm like, my phone says it's 5:30 or 6:30 it was. I said, my phone says 6:30. He goes, my phone says 1:30. His phone was registering some teeny weeny tiny little town in Germany.
Weird.
And my phone was registering Salt Fork, Ohio. We have the exact same phone.
Wow.
We're in the exact same hotel room.
You sure that was your husband?
It looked like my husband. I don't know. Maybe not. That could explain a lot of things.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that is bizarre.
It was very bizarre because we had a German exchange student with us. She was at a friend's house. She didn't go with us to Salt Fork. And when we got home, we asked her about this little town in Germany. And she lives in Germany and has never heard of this little town. We had to look it up.
Is that 4-hour difference? Is that the time it really was in Germany? Because that's only 4 hours away. That's not that far.
No, it was 5 hours away.
Oh, 5 hours. Okay.
There's a 5 hour time
okay.
difference.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that not insane?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
How did his phone register being in Germany when we weren't in Germany?
Well, the pundits would say, well, there could have just been a satellite issue, a satellite picking up the wrong signal, or they'd find a way to make it
right.
It'd be a bunch of crap, of course, but they'd find a way to.
But we have the exact same phone.
Yeah.
And my phone registered Salt Fork, Ohio. So you'd think if one phone was being wonky, that they would both be wonky. It's the exact same phone.
Yeah.
I called Fred Saluga on my way home and said, Fred, this really weird thing happened. And he said, are you sure you weren't abducted?
Well, there's that.
I don't know. All I know is that something really weird happened.
Yeah. There's a time jump.
Yeah.
You hear about those a lot, and people just kind of almost just blow them off like, well, yeah, I thought there was something weird, but I'm probably just imagining it. They don't put much stock in it. But it's just when something like that happens to me, or a growl or a blue orb in my wife's bathroom, 7 hours away.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, I need to look into that.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool.
Yeah. It was very weird.
Have you Googled it and tried to figure it out, or just?
Well, my phone then went back to 1:30, and we went back to bed and got up at 6:30 in the morning and drove home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
So I don't know what the hell happened that night. I have no idea. I have not been able to place it at all. Nothing. Like nothing.
Excuse me. Do you normally get up at that time of morning, like to go to the bathroom or something? It's one of those kind of things. Yeah.
No.
Him or him?
Mm-mm. No. When he's out, he's out. There ain't no getting up. He's like a brick.
Huh. Wow. Oh, that's pretty bizarre.
It was very bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
But you were talking about that missing time and stuff, and it just jogged my memory. And I thought, I got to tell you that story because,
see, that's another thing. We're talking about all this, paranormal and the connections. Many of my habituation folks have UFOs, orbs, Sasquatch, other mystery creatures they can't define. Some they can. Dogman on one of them for sure. And so you don't know what's going out in the hinterlands.
Yep.
Caves and all that. So yeah, that just, but that's why my particular thing was just my groove. I knew I could get the weird stuff because I get that anyway. This was like, this kind of keeps you grounded because, it's those relationships that really are the really cool stuff, not all this weird stuff going on. I mean, that's fascinating in and of itself, but this shows a connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A spiritual connection is just, can't get it anywhere else.
Nope. Absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go. I know it's past time.
Yeah. I'm going to log us out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Kurt. You were awesome. Making comments and stuff. And we will see you again in 2 weeks.
All right. Email me if you got questions. I return them all. See you guys.
Yep. See ya.
This has been a CARC Universal production. This has been a CARC Universal production.